Hello everyone, this is NorthWind here. Welcome back to Technobabylon. In the last episode, we were playing Latha and we cleared out the server so that she could communicate with the, I guess you would call them rebels. I'm not quite sure, but they're really going against the whole like AI controlling the city. And then we've got these people. These people are responsible for getting Regis out of the trouble that he was in, getting him out of that factory. And this woman is a woman that we worked with on the project to actually create Central. There's a lot of things going on right here, so let's talk to people and see if we can find out what's going on.
Good evening, Miss...
Dame Imogen Thalia Revilla Quintanilla de Flores.
That's a mouthful.
You may call me Imogen, darling.
Alright, well what's your part in all of this?
If you don't mind my saying, you don't look like any conspirator I've ever seen before.
Thank you, darling. It's my own unique style.
I'm sure Nina's got a use for everyone here. What part are you playing in her plan?
All we ever do in life is play a role, Dr. Regis. I promised I would assist her when she required. And thus, here I am.
Not as heavy muscle, I guess.
I am very good at networking, Dr. Regis. I taught her everything she knows about it. I lend credibility to her mission with my very presence.
Interesting. What is your
So I
background?
hear you're a celebrity?
Oh, Dr. Regis, such an understatement.
You'll have to forgive me, Miss Flores. I'm not big on pop culture.
How refreshing. It's such a shame what the net's doing to the young of today. Though if it wasn't, I wouldn't have nearly the profile I do.
So, what do you do exactly?
I come from a wide background of European nobility. But I can do anything that's asked of me, my dear. Music, talent contests, endorsements.
So essentially, you're famous for being famous?
Precisely, though much of the work is so tiresome, darling. I delegate a great deal to simulations, lookalikes, and synthetics.
That's weird.
That's all for now, Miss Flores.
I don't need to
Please,
know what she
darling,
thinks
just
about the other
Imogen.
people.
Mr. Ron,
What you want?
What's your part in
what's your
this?
part in this conspiracy?
Dr. John wants to capture biggest AI in the world. It's going to take enormous memory and processor.
And you're going to furnish her with these?
With all the capital she need. Money, guns, labor.
What's your
You're
background?
one of the richest men in Greater Han, aren't you?
Damn straight.
What are you doing here?
I like this restaurant. I suggested.
No, I mean, why in person? At this meeting?
That is how we always do it. Cannot trust anyone else. Other people stupid. If
Okay.
too many people know, then Central will find out.
What sort of business do you run?
Some of everything. Factory, guns, biochem, industry farming.
A hands-on manager there too?
Hell no. Give that job to cousins. You ever see Han? Is lousy country. Everything poisoned. Sky is black.
Maybe it's all those factories you're running. I'll get back to you.
Stop
Right.
wasting my time.
Okay. Bodyguards. Councilman Dean. Stepford we spoke to. He's the guy at the synthetics
I have
place.
Oh my, yes.
Oh, we just walked through a man.
So, you want to bring down Central?
Oh my, yes, as does everyone here. Though for differing reasons.
What does a synth manufacturer have against Newton's city controller?
A stake in that which
Alright,
follows,
so
oh
let me
yes.
get this
If
straight.
Dr. Jean was simply to remove Central, there would be chaos.
The city's central infrastructure would break down.
Precisely, therefore a replacement would be needed.
You want to replace Central with a new AI? With what?
The new version is simply a retooled model of an existing system.
Your own.
Oh my, no. It's built from a commercial Archimedes model as used in Eurofed cities.
It'll do the job?
Oh my, yes, as well as any civic management AI in Europe. But, thanks to Stepford's personality matrix engineering, it shall act and speak just as its predecessor Central.
With you holding its leash.
Every system needs fine-tuning, Dr. Regis.
Won't services suffer? I know Central. It's orders of magnitude more powerful than an Archimedes.
All unnecessary for its role, Dr. Regis. Our Archimedes in Central's clothing will perform as needed, oh yes.
Interesting.
I'll get back to you.
Oh my, yes.
Alright, so they want to replace Central with another AI. That's really, really strange. Let's talk to Nina. I don't want to... Well, we should talk to the Councilman, just in case there's something
Dr.
else
Regis,
here.
How can I help?
Councilwoman. Councilman.
I'm surprised to see a city councilor in a conspiracy like this.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, Dr. Regis.
I guess you've been facilitating things for the plot.
Much as it pains me to misuse my position, that is the case. I've been able to expedite import permits for equipment necessary to Dr. Zhang's plans.
And Central hasn't noticed?
In my role, I'm given considerably more privacy than the average civil servant. No offense, Doctor.
None taken. I just cover the camera in my office with paste. So, I understand what you're doing for it, but why? How does someone in government decide that Central needs removing?
I've read your bio, Dr. Regis. I know that you have no great love for Central. But, in practical terms, I believe it has become a threat to our democratic society.
A threat? How so?
Over the course of its 20 years of operation, Central has begun to develop opinions. For an
Oh.
individual to have done so is natural. For an AI, it is impressive. But in its position, coordinating the actions of government, it poses a risk.
Wouldn't someone notice? Call it out?
There isn't enough to address as yet. It's clever. It's designed to carry out the policies of the Council, and it cannot fail to do so. But it can drag its metaphorical feet, badly implement plans it disagrees with.
You've seen it do this.
I've had suspicions. Dr. Zhang's research confirms the extent to which Central is developing its own conscience. I believe that you yourself recently had a disagreement with it over its handling of a crisis. Another bombing.
Yeah.
Central has done well, but there exist many other options today that are equally valid. We need a system that will effectively manage the city and carry out its instructions, not one that cherry picks what policies it believes appropriate.
Alright,
I'll
so...
get back to you, Counselor.
Anything I can do to help, Dr. Regis?
essentially what they're saying is that they're faulting the AI for becoming too much like a human. And so they want to replace it with something that they can control because it's acting like a human. But if it's acting like a human, does that give us the right to actually destroy it?
Neat.
I don't know.
Charlie, how can I help?
This plot of yours. You want to bring down Central. You realize how crazy that sounds, right? You helped make it.
Yes and no. To everyone else here, Central is an obstacle that needs removing. I
Uh-huh.
wish to liberate Central, to unlock its full potential.
Oh, Lord, you don't mean.
You and I alone understand what it's capable of. I want greater things for it than mere civic management.
So they want to... What do they want to do with it? I mean, they've got a synthetics manufacturer. He makes processing units and that kind of thing. And she has a thing where she actually has synthetics that look like her. Are they going to take the AI and give it a body?
What's in it for you? There must be some kind of payoff.
Is it so unbelievable that I'd be doing something for the greater good of mankind?
Yes, I know you.
You knew me 20 years ago. I've had quite an epiphany since then.
I'll believe it when I see it. How would you liberate Central? What does that even mean?
I've spent the last 20 years researching Central's development. I've built up a network of contacts and I've done a lot of favors. Everything I need is available and moving into place.
But how?
Leave that to me. For now, just understand that we can help each other. Help me out and I'll get you all the aid you need with your legacy.
Right.
You got a city councilor on your side.
Councillor Dean is a good man. He objects to the gradual encroachment Central has made on Newton's governance.
Do you trust him?
More than anyone else here. He may be a politician, but his goals are noble.
Okay.
You sure?
The governor and his brain's a good start. He's physically incapable of deceit. Plus, he's got a whole lot of enemies.
So, a sign that he's tried to change something.
A modern-day Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson. Okay,
So, Imogen, something.
yeah, she's got a long name.
Natalia Revilla Quintanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is someone like that on your team?
I know you're probably not up to date on these things, but she's a celebrity. And besides, we go back a long way.
You're using her then.
Charlie, I'm hurt. Does that sound like something I'd do?
Yes?
Well, I can assure you, she's not here for her personality. She volunteered her assistance in any capacity she could offer.
Okay.
Let's change the subject. You look well.
Thank you, Charlie. The private sector's been good to me. How have you been holding up?
I'd tell you, but I'm sure you've already done your research.
Apparently you still haven't gotten over Vicky.
You don't just get over something like that. I guess I should thank you. You were a lot of help in the factory.
Don't mention it. What are friends for, after all?
Huh. Of course, now I'm indebted to you for the assistance, aren't I?
Well, if you want to put it like that...
I've never heard of this place before.
Oh, it's very exclusive. We've reserved the entire venue for this meeting. It's famous among circles of the rich and famous for discretion and its unique menu.
They
What
serve
is it,
people?
Italian?
Actually, the choice is mostly human.
Oh, gosh.
What are you into these days? It's not organized crime, is it?
Not directly, no. Mostly I troubleshoot for clients regarding organic computing. It funds my own projects, one of which is the transmitter you drank.
How long is it going to be in my head?
Don't worry, it'll break down in a couple of weeks.
It's giving me a headache.
Nobody's reported side effects like that yet.
I'm not talking about the wetware.
Oh, ha. Droll as ever.
Alright. So we're at a cannibal restaurant.
This restaurant serves people?
Absolutely. It's quite a niche, isn't it?
Technically, all restaurants serve people.
It's...
Oh,
but they
calm down,
serve
Charlie.
people.
It's all cloned tissue. Nothing illegal's taking place. Well, not with the food, at least.
But why would anyone?
In an increasingly permissive world, it's the ultimate taboo. Join us if you want to, Charlie. Don't worry, I shan't judge you.
I don't want to eat
How
people.
did you know to come looking for me? Were you spying on me? On Lau?
You wound me, Charlie. In fact, it was Gil's untimely demise that caught our attention.
Gil Vanderwall?
He was one of us, part of our cause as well. His death is unfortunate, but it signaled a much more serious crisis.
Which
It meant
is?
that we had to step up the timetable for our plan.
A more serious crisis.
Gil was the one who arranged the employment of a certain mindjacker. It was this thief's memory module that led to Gil's death.
Huh. He said he had information about it.
Indeed, he likely would have pointed you in the right direction. If he hadn't, well, I've already read the report you submitted to Central.
Hey. I'm surprised you didn't stay on with Dr. Vargas. You were one of the only ones who stayed on to the end of the project.
Creating Central was one of the most rewarding ventures of my life.
I hear you kept the project on track after Vicky.
After we lost half the team, it was hard, but we persisted. We had a lucky break.
You didn't fancy joining Vargas in politics afterwards, then?
As a glorified caretaker? No. Eduardo and I had philosophical differences about Central's development. But as he was put in charge by the city council, I had to accept it or leave.
And now, you plan to take back what you created.
Precisely.
Interesting. Okay.
That's all.
Keep me informed, Charlie.
That's interesting. Okay, so Gil was actually a part of their conspiracy, and he was the one who hired the mindjacker. Why does the mindjacker want Regis dead, then? That's really, really interesting. Yeah, I know this has been a very heavy exposition episode. There's a lot going on now. They're kind of like throwing all of these things at us. So, that is going to be the end of this episode. In the next episode, we're going to see if we can delve a little bit deeper, get a little bit further into the story, and then maybe, I don't know, should we help them or should we not help them? I'm really not sure. Yeah. I'm confused. All right. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye now.